First game of the week, Arizona versus St. Louis. Whew, talk about your overachievers. Kevin Kolb don't even believe that Kevin Kolb is an NFL quarterback. Pretty sure that dude works at Circle K on the week. Then they just pick him up Sunday mornings and put him on a jersey. Only way Arizona's 4-0 is purely by defense and dumb luck. As for STL, we need to look at the NFL Competition and Rules Committee because they won 2 home games, and I'm pretty sure they're just showing Inception in the visiting team's locker rooms, so they don't know if it's a dream or real or what's going on. By the time they wake up and realize that they're playing the fucking Rams, it's too late. It's like a minute left in the fourth quarter, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Scrambling around, it just doesn't work out. It's cheating. It's dirty. Anyway, I'm gonna say STL in the tight one, thanks to Leonardo DiCaprio. Guy's like 58. Still looks like he's 22. It's crazy. All right. Next game is Miami versus Cincy. Who they, baby? Who they? I'm gonna always go with the Bengals. In my hometown, even if I think they're gonna lose, I'm gonna tell y'all to go with the Bengals. That's just how I ride, baby. That's just how I ride. All right. Now, they got their asses handed to them in the first game. But after that, they realized that if you don't have all your players in jail, they tend to perform better on Sunday. Meanwhile, Miami, yeah, you guys have been playing everyone tough, but your only win is against the Raiders. So, you suck. Cincy big. Next, Green Bay versus Indy. Well, looks like Andrew Luck is gonna end up being the real deal. Uh, Problem is, outside of Reggie Wayne, I can't name anybody else on the team. They still don't have a running game. I, I thought they got new offensive coordinators and everybody left and they got rid of Peyton Manning's neck and yeah, I think they have 13 yards on the season. Rushing game is not a factor whatsoever. I think they have some guy from Rutgers or UConn or one of those schools on the East Coast that plays really early on Saturday mornings. And yeah, we normally don't watch that game. Pretty sure Andrew Luck, since he is a rookie, he's going to be good, but he still has 143 interceptions to throw this season. NFL gets to everybody, baby. Gets to everybody. After being shafted by the replacement refs and then almost being shafted by the real refs, I think Green Bay's back on track. Although their defense seems to be as shaky as a one-legged hooker in clear heels. So, I mean, it could get tight, but I think Green Bay will have their way with the rookies. Matthews will hit him a couple of times and do a new touchdown dance. Who knows? It'll be a new commercial next week. Anyway, Green Bay big. Baltimore versus Kansas City. Now, Ray Lewis is a 58-year-old linebacker, but he's still scary as shit. Um, Meanwhile, Matt Castle doesn't even have Matt Castle on his own fantasy team. So we're going to call the Ravens on this one pretty easily. Plus, they got the extra rest from last week's bullshit Thursday game. Fuck you, NFL Network. Fuck you, Roger Goodell. Next up, Cleveland versus the Giants. Not sure if Cleveland really wants to make this trip to New York. They're coming off that loss to Philly, and they're pretty angry. Um, Ever since the Super Bowl, though, Eli's head is actually bigger than his helmet. So he could throw a couple of interceptions easily in this, but Cleveland's still on the road, so they'll lose. I figured it out, though, that the reason Eli throws so many interceptions is that his head is so big, you can actually see the plays go from the back of his brain to the front of his brain in word format. He doesn't even have to open his mouth. It's kind of weird, but he should really get that covered up. Maybe some of that spray on hair stuff. I don't know, but it's weird. His head is Philly versus Pittsburgh. Um, Pittsburgh is coming off of the bye week, which they just lost to the Raiders, so I think the NFL should have made them take 2 weeks off just on GP. That shit was horrible. Um, Michael Vick actually didn't fuck up last week, which is a good thing, but it also probably means that he's gonna fuck up this week. Um, but I'm still pulling with Philly in a tight one on this one. I mean, Pittsburgh's D is older than Betty White's vagina, and that's pretty old. I mean, the only thing they're worth anymore is dragging out at the Democratic National Convention and doing a couple of commercials. Those those dudes are those dudes are done. It's pretty sad. Plus, I'm pretty sure Ben Roethlisberger has a couple of rape cases that he could get into over the bye week. We'll figure it out. All right, Atlanta versus Washington. Atlanta talks a big game. And every year we say this should be their year, that they should make that next step. And every year we say next year will be that year that they make the big step. Defense is a little shoddy. People have been running on them. And you have to look at Tony Gonzalez as their most consistent player. And I'm pretty sure he played with the Mexican Harlem Globetrotters back in the 70s. So he's getting kind of up there as well. Washington, they're pretty up and down so far this year. I mean, we have to look at Mike Shanahan for this. As a friend of mine pointed out, we looking into his past employment, but we think he used to be a horse trainer. Reason so is because he whips the shit out of his thoroughbreds. RG3, he not gonna make it past the end of the season if all they keep running are QB draws and dives. That dude is not very big, and Shanahan doesn't seem to care. It's pretty sad. I mean, we brought up Michael Vick on dogfighting charges. We need to look at Shanahan on his horse deals, because he just whips and spikes those things right out of the gate. I mean, seriously, name a running back that has lasted longer than a year, if a full season, in a Mike Shanahan offense. I'll wait. Yeah, me either. I'm gonna have to say ATL in this one. Uh, RG3, unfortunately, is probably gonna get hurt. I hope not. The dude is a baller. But yeah, he's probably gonna get hurt. It's been a crazy week. Seattle versus Carolina. There's a lot of political heat going on there. I mean, what are the people of North and South Carolina gonna do when two black quarterbacks take the field? Especially during an administration of a black president, it's got to be some kind of Muslim, Nazi, socialist conspiracy, especially if the game is being aired on Fox. It's just sad. As far as what's going to happen in the game, Seattle has to fly halfway around the planet to play. And as a former SEC player, if anybody knows how to shut up racist white people, it's on the field with your football play, and Cam Newton knows that. So Carolina should go ahead and pull this one out. Maurice Jones-Drew has decided to show up. The problem in the offseason was that he had 38 fantasy football teams to join, and the drafts were just taking up too much time. That it was either the draft or training camp, and so he's not an asshole or a dick or an idiot. He's no. He's just an idiot with horrible scheduling problems. Cost him a couple mil, but hey, you're a millionaire. Hopefully he invested um, in Romney Care or something. Who knows? Yeah, and after all the fantasy football stuff, I mean, at least MJD's game has picked up, but the Bears' defense is for real. And, despite Jay Cutler's best attempts at ineptitude, um, it seems that Brandon Marshall has taken a break from being stabbed by his wife to actually focus on football. So I think the Bears should go ahead and take this one. Let's see here. Tennessee versus Minnesota. With the help of special teams and AP's new robotic knee, Minnesota is actually kind of legit. I'm gonna leave it at kind of right now. We're just gonna leave it at kind of. Um, Meanwhile, Tennessee's forced to start poor man's Kurt Warner. Um, Hasselback, really? Dude is dude is old. I mean, I'm hoping that he throws less interceptions than he has strands of hair left on his head. But who knows? Either way, Minnesota should handle this in the dome without a problem. Denver versus New England. Peyton Manning is a walking video game, but New England is his arch nemesis. Um, Denver's D is good, and Tom Brady has had his face smashed in a few times this year, so it should be tighter than expected. I mean, you have to look at, though, Giselle's purse holder, aka Sunshine. He promised her a win this week, and she said if he doesn't win, then she's not taking him to the fashion week in Paris during the bye. So, I mean, that's motivation for any pretty boy. It's fashion week, Paris. New England's gonna win. Buffalo versus San Francisco. Well, have you ever started beating somebody's ass in a video game so badly that they just got angry and walked up and hit reset? Buffalo's gonna need to do that after this week. Problem is, Patrick Willis is gonna be standing in front of the TV, so good luck with that. San Francisco, it's gonna get ugly. Y'all thought the Jets was ugly. No, this one's gonna get ugly. Yeah, it's ugly. San Diego versus New Orleans. Well, San Diego is having another nonchalant season. Um, these guys beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, but when somebody real comes to town, they lay down. It's, it's, you shouldn't do that as an NFL team. Um, Meanwhile, New Orleans needs a coach, or at least a hurricane to come in and wipe out their defense so they can start fresh. It's pretty sad. New Orleans has been partying since they won the Super Bowl 3 years ago, and they need to get their asses off of Bourbon Street and get focused on the game. Worst case scenario, they could just flash some beads at Phillip Rivers and he'll bitch up on them. They should win at home. First victory of the season. Lastly, we have Houston versus the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. I'm sure the schedule makers thought this was going to be a closer game when they set it up. It's not. Houston has been the most consistent team this season, and Rex Ryan is still in denial about his team's actual capabilities. Um, I'm thinking too many diet pills, not enough protein. Uh, Possibly if he started eating again, he would be able to eat his way back into reality, or at least play O line for them, because they're looking bad. As for you Tebow fans out there, I even hate saying his name, but here's your reality check. Baby Jesus is in my fantasy football league, and he doesn't have one Jets player on his roster. All your prayers have gone unanswered. Real talk. Something big in this game. ESPN at halftime is probably going to have to try and trick us into believing that poker is a sport again and switch over to attorney, because it's going to be more exciting than this one. Houston big. Anyway, I'd like to thank you folks for coming out for Pepper's Picks and the first Misunderstood Evil Genius show. There's more to come on a weekly basis. Holla at your boy. I'm out like a midget in a dunk contest. Deuces.